G20 Delhi Declaration is a landmark piece of a document. And right at the beginning, unhesitatingly, I'll give all the credit to Honorable Prime Minister. He had a complete picture of how this has to be handled in the country. He wanted it to be taken in every state and conducted in such a manner that the people feel that this is happening for our good. It is going to give something back to India. This is not just an international event, but all of us have something to contribute to it. So all this was explicitly stated by the Prime Minister even from the days when we were planning, much before he took it over from Indonesia in Bali. So we knew that we had to take it to all states. We knew that it had to be a very clear people's participation. We also knew that this was the way in which India's hospitality, Aditi Devo Bhava, will be showcased. And obviously, the hardest thing, that the content of what we do is going to have such meat in it that people will participate, the delegates will participate with the nitty-gritty in their hand, so that the eventual document, which now is called Delhi Declaration, would be a landmark piece. Therefore, from the beginning, through the running in this 1 year, taking it to all states, showcasing the state's uniqueness, food, culture, their music, their festivals, their artwork, the craftsmen, everything was put in place. Every member country and my counterparts have told me that India has actually handled it in such a way that it has lifted the entire G20 presidency for any country. It set a very high benchmark. And truly, some of them even told me that in their team, there would be at least one officer who's visited at least 10 destinations in this country in the process of the deputies meeting, working group meeting and so on. So India has showcased itself as a good tourism destination. Culture has been showcased. People have been given a chance to interact with these delegates who came in. Many of the products which are top-notch products have been showcased there for them to buy it and even given as gifts by Honorable PM. All of us have given our counterparts. So it was utilized fully for putting India in its top position as a country worth visiting, seeing and appreciating for its values.
Humongous amounts of money were spent at a time when India is reeling under inflation. Common people are facing the brunt of high prices on their wallets, and inflation rates in July, especially the food inflation, has been extremely high.
Navika, I can talk for quite some time on just the inflation. I'm not saying the prices of edible products, particularly perishables, are not pinching the common people. We are trying to make sure that the supply side difficulties are handled. And I'm not indifferent to it. We are making sure that improved supplies reach people, and you saw tomatoes have already crashed to the other end, where the farmers are not even getting their input costs back. So there are mismatches, supply side mismatches. There is a group of ministers who look at it almost alternative days to make sure that commodities reach. And at that time too, I stood up in the parliament to answer that for tomatoes, we are procuring from Kolar and some tomato growing areas and importing from Nepal and immediately spreading. And you must have seen, as media, you would have noticed in Delhi, in different areas, we sent mobile vans to sell tomatoes to people.
I want to ask you, then what is the agenda for those bills that are there, or just moving into the new parliament, or is it one nation, one poll? Is it the women's reservation bill?
First of all, on women, G20 recognizes that India is doing governance, keeping women in the center. In fact, women-led development is the idea which PM put through the 10 years, and that was also an issue which G20 took cognizance of, and they appreciated that this women-led development idea of taking decisions which will put women in the forefront is something which the G20 Delhi Declaration also appreciates. So what are you talking about? If there's been a government which has done systematically work to strengthen women, it is Prime Minister Modi's government.
What about the bill? What about reservation for women?
Well, you will get to know whatever is the agenda which will be released by the Parliament Affairs. You will see it.
Do you think it should come? As a woman, parliamentarian, do you think there should be women reservation?
I'm a representative of a government. I can only speak that which I can speak. My personal views are kept aside. I will not talk about it.
The first woman finance minister, and many people, when they look at you, especially women in this country, they look at you and feel that she'll probably understand our kitchen worries, our wallet worries more than others. Women tend to be the budget keepers at home as well. They're looking forward today to know from you what's your roadmap from now till maybe the end of your term, so that they can plan their lives around it.
Yes, I can for once say very clearly, I have not increased tax on any item till now, GST or direct. No, yes. So this is one thing. Second, particularly for perishable commodities, we have made sure that supply side problems are addressed. There is a group of ministers which looks into it in detail. Rice and wheat have been released from Food Corporation of India go down so that market prices come down. Efforts are being made to make sure inflation is contained. And for those who wanted lesser rate of tax to pay, income tax, I've brought in a second parallel system through which you pay lesser tax. And in that, people said standard deduction is not being given and therefore it is still not attractive. I brought that in. So now, if you're earning approximately 60,000 rupees, you don't pay any tax at all. For 7 lakh odd, we don't charge any tax. So reduction of income tax has happened.
Dil mange more.
That's fine. You have every right.